Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today is day 45 of 100 days of Katoween. Sorry that I didn't get yesterday's video up. I thought, you know what, I'm not going to stress myself. Things were going a little crazy yesterday. A lot of good things happening, but just kind of stressing me out. Anyways, I have the video today that I'm going to show you guys, and then I'm going to have another video up shortly after, because we're going to use what we're going to make right now for that video, so might as well get it all recorded for you guys. So I'll have two videos today. So what we're making today are these coin envelopes, and I've seen tutorials for coin envelopes before, but they're just the flat ones like this, you know, so it's simple to make, just a little flat envelope, which are super cute. But this one is actually a dimensional coin envelope. So this is more like a lunch sack. So as you can see, it's dimensional and you can fold it. And I think it just allows you to have way more wiggle room for some Happy Mail, and you know, you can prop it up on its own. And then of course I would need to take some time to wrap this around, but it was kind of difficult to figure out the dimensions for all you guys, but I'm so happy that I have it all down and ready to show you. So here's one that I made. It's a lot easier to use thinner paper versus cardstock. So this one's in cardstock, and this one was tricky to make, but I wanted to make one like a pasteluine, one that I could just stamp some images on. So I just put some like planchettes on there using the stamp set from Michael's. But this one I can't fold flat like the other one, like I'm having difficulty right there. But I think it still came out really, really cute. So you can definitely do that, but just be careful that with cardstock, it's a little bit trickier to fold. So where did I get this idea from? I got this from last year from Target, and it kind of hurt my heart to tear it apart, but I have several of this version, and I thought, you know what, afterwards I can just go and fussy cut all these cute ghosts and repurpose this. But I took the Target coin envelope or coin sack apart, so that way I can get an idea and get the measurements out there. So basically what this is, I thought maybe a 12 by 12 paper pad, a 12 by 12 paper would work, but it's a little bit longer than a 12 by 12 paper. So basically you're gonna need two of the same print in order to be able to make this project today. So I'll give you the measurements for that. So basically you're gonna need a full 12 by 12 paper, and then a 4 inches of another one of the same print. If you don't have any print, you know, you're just using cardstock or just one color, then you can definitely, you know, well, you would still need the same color. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, you're gonna need the 12 by 12, 4 inches of this one, and then you're gonna cut an additional 1 inch from the other paper that you cut. And you're gonna need that for the tab. So for this part, basically. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, and then I'll give you all the score lines. So what you'll need today is you're gonna need your paper, 2 of the same print, and then of course you're gonna need something to cut your paper with, you know, paper cutter. You're going to need a scoreboard. Sorry, mine's all junky. I have to give it like a really deep cleaning from glue. And then you're gonna need a bone file. You're going to be needing some glue to put it all together, and then also a hole punch. So I'm going to be using my Crop-A-Dile, and this is the Crop-A-Dile 2, and this works really great when you have to reach for like long places, like basically here in the center. You know, you could easily go ahead and do that. So you're going to need a hole punch, and then also something for the little eyelets to, you know, put those on there. So this works great because it does both. And to put the little circle, like here, you could easily use a 1/2 inch circle. I'm using a 5/8 inch by recollection to cut that out. And then you're gonna also need some string, some like baker's twine, to go ahead and use for the part to wrap around the coin envelope part. And that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get started, and I'll walk you through this process. Let me just move some things out of the way. This probably won't bug me either. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just trim off the little edge that I don't need. And unfortunately, my little cutter broke, so I'm gonna have to get a new one pretty soon, but this still works. I just have to be careful. Go ahead and cut that off. And then this is double-sided, but you don't need to have it double-sided necessarily. Cut this off, and then I'll go ahead and trim the parts that I need. Okay, and then I gotta decide, do I want it up and down or side to side? I think up and down is pretty cute. So okay, so we're gonna cut this at 4 inches. Inches, and then we're going to cut one at 1 inch, and this is going to be our tab. Then you don't need this anymore, and then we don't need the cutting board anymore. Okay. I am going to, well, let me see if I can find my ruler. Okay, so I have my ruler. I'm going to go ahead, oh, and you're going to need a pencil too. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and mark this at 1 inch because that part is going to get glued down. So basically here. I don't even know if that marked, I can't even see it. Oh, I did. And this is just to guide me. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and glue that. I'm just using this silicone glue that I got from Martha's Creations. I've mentioned it several times in my videos. It's basically kind of like hot glue, but of course not hot. And it doesn't warp your papers, and I feel like it adheres really, really well. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and glue this on here, on the outside. Use the other side, or the other part of this paper, because I don't want glue on my table. Usually I would have my mat out here. That's okay. Alright, we have that adhered, so that gives you the length that you need. And next we're going to work on this one. Basically for this one, let me bring out, so if you see the tab isn't all the way, like, you know, the full length of this, I usually just measure this on here, or, you know, trace it on here, but I'm going to measure the length for you guys so you can have it. And I'll try to have all the measurements down below in the description as well. So this is going to be 9.5 inches long. Yeah, 9.5 inches long. So where'd my pencil go? So it's going to be at 9.5 inches long. And basically what you want to do is, I made this longer than the actual tab because we're going to glue this onto the paper as well. And then you're just going to cut it at an angle. So you're going to need your scissors. Kind of like that, at an angle. I mean, it's not necessary. I don't think it's fully necessary. Like once you glue it down, I don't think this is gonna get hidden. Okay, so basically, again, this is 9.5 inches long and then cut at an angle. Now what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and adhere this again on the outside of this. Do I have it? Let me see. Yeah, on the outside. And you just want to get the edge. Like so. And we're going to stick this here on the paper. And as you can see, this one is basically flush to the top, but that's fine if ours doesn't do that. It's not going to be that big of a deal. You could always trim that. So here, we'll just trim that little corner. Okay. Now that we have our paper ready to go, we're going to go ahead and put our score lines. And we're going to start with our tab facing out, towards the top and facing out. Let me get my notes because I don't have this memorized quite yet. So we're going to score at 2.5. All the way down. Then we're going to score at 7.5. Then at 10. Then we're going to flip this so that way the tab is now facing inwards. And we're going to want to score the tab at 5 3/4, I believe. 5 3s. 5 thirds. I don't even know how to say that. It's 5 3. I'll have all the information down below, the measurements. And you're gonna see that it's flush to the side. You'll know that it's just right. It's right, like right on the outside. And while we have it here, we're going to go ahead and score at 1 1/4. 1 1/4. Wait, no, not there. Sorry. Let's rotate this. Back to how we had it. So the tab facing out, we're going to score at 1 1/4. And then at 8 3/4. Need my glasses. So again, let's go over those one more time in case I confused you. You're going to have your tab facing outwards. You're going to score at 2.5, at 7.5, and at 10. Then we're going to go ahead and score at 1 1/4, and 8 3/4. We're gonna rotate that with the tab facing inwards, and we're gonna rotate, or we're gonna score at 5 3. And now we're going to rotate our paper again. We're gonna have the tab facing downwards. It's best if you have it flipped over. So have your inside towards the top. And we're gonna have the tab facing downwards because I want the tab to be on the bottom part. So we are gonna score at 1 inch all the way down, and I know this is too long for your scoreboard, so you're gonna have to put your paper up. Just make sure that it's all the way to the side and keep going downwards. And then we're gonna score at 2 1/2 all the way down. Then we're gonna score at 8, but here you gotta be cautious. So basically you're gonna start seeing like the divisions. So you have this division, this bigger division, this one, and then this bigger division. This is the front, and then this is the back of your bag. This one, we do not want to score at 8. We want to leave this without a score line. So if you look at this, there is no score line going down across. There is one going here. So we want to be careful. So again, we're going to score at 8, but we're going to skip this rectangle. Score to that line, skip, and I know this is kind of tricky, so you kind of have to eyeball it. You know, you could use your ruler to help guide you too. And score down. And then we just have one more score line. We're going to score at 9 1/2. In this one, you can go all the way. You don't have to skip. It's just this one line we have to skip. The 8. There you go. And we don't need our scoreboard anymore. So I'm going to put this away. Or at least off to the side. Okay, so the next step that we're gonna do is you're gonna grab your scissors and we're gonna cut. So if we look at the example that I have here from Target, they have these sections cut, and that's where you're gonna fold. So it's basically each side of the bag. Just be careful that this is not a score line. This is where you glued. Do not cut that. Be careful of that. We don't cut this one. Because you can see this is one side of the bag, like the back side. This is one of the insides, and this is the front side. So you're gonna make a total of 3 cuts, and this is the other inside. So the inside, the front, inside, and the back side. So those are the cuts that we're gonna make. Now comes the part of folding everything. Give myself some room here so you guys can see. So for this part, we're gonna go ahead and fold it in. This is gonna be at your second score line. So you have one score line, second score line. You're gonna fold that in, and then the first score line you're gonna fold the opposite way. So if you notice, that's what's the little fold on the inside, right? And then for the main section here, this is the front side, we'll just go ahead and fold it in. We'll rotate this so this is easier on us. Fold it in. And then this middle gets folded inwards, just like the other side. and at the same time it's folding this side right here. So you can see our bag is already forming here. And then the last score line was this little tab right here. I'm gonna fold that one inwards because this is what's going to be used to glue our bag shut from right here. You know, to connect the two sides. But before we do that, we want to fold this top score line right here, the 1 inch, because that's the little lip of our bag. So if you see here, I have a little lip. That way when you see the design. So we're gonna fold that one in. And I'm going to use my bone folder to help me make that crease line more crisp. And I know I'm making a Halloween coin bag because of course this is for my series, but you can use this tutorial for any sort of design. So it just depends on the paper that you use. You can totally make some really cute Maggie Holmes ones, which I have in mind of doing as well. So you see our little bag is coming together. Step. So before we actually glue that together, and this is what happened to me with this bag, we need to put the little eyelets first, because otherwise it's so tricky to get those on, and it's so much easier before you've glued it together. So let's go ahead and do that first. So remember, our front side is the side that does not have the score line going down across the bottom. So this is our back, and this is our front. We are gonna go ahead and eyeball this, because you see this is gonna fold, and I want this in the middle. So you're gonna have to just kind of eyeball it. And I'm going to use my pencil to mark where I'm going to put my eyelet, my little coin. I could also count the little things, but you probably won't have a paper that you can count. So I'm thinking I could also look at this one. So yeah, it's just basically like, maybe I'll measure it for you guys. You just want to make sure that from the score line, it's going to be approximately 3 inches down. So basically 3 inches down, and of course in the middle, which if I measure this, it's going to be at 2.5. I'm a little off, but that's okay. And then on the back side, this upper part of the lip, that's what's going to get folded down. So we want to mark that as well. So it's going to be at 2.5, and then it's going to be at, so this is 1.5, so approximately right here. So whatever's half of 1.5. So I have marked those. I'm going to punch out my little circles, and let me see. I'm just gonna make them black. So I have this scrap paper, and I need 2 circles. And I'm gonna need my crocodile. Make sure that I'm gonna be using it at the setting of 1/8 for the hole punch. And I'm going to put these as close to the center as possible to make the circle. So it's a little off, but you know, I don't mind. Okay, this one got more in the center. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna cut the holes, the little hole punch on the measurement, or the little dot that we did for where we want it. So we cut it there. And then again, why I love the crocodile, because you can make, you know, reach far. And there we go. So we have our 2 hole punch and our circles hole punched. And we're gonna get some eyelets, not eyelids, eyelets. And I was actually won this as a raffle gift. And it's so cool because there's so many different colors in here. I think I'm gonna use orange. Okay, and we put the little, sorry, motorcycle went by. We put the little eyelet on the circle and then on top. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here. Make sure I put this on the right setting. So much easier if I had glued this together. This would have been really tricky. Alright, so we have them on there. Now we can go on to gluing this. See, I'm glad I caught that. Otherwise, that would have been really tricky. I mean, it's not the end of the world when you do that. It's just really difficult and frustrating. Glue string there. All right, now we can glue this on here. Again, we're gonna allow this to dry before we move on to gluing these parts down. Okay, so for these sides, you have your score line here. We're gonna fold this inwards. And same for this one. I need to cut it a little bit here. That's where the tab is, so I need to make sure that this can fold in. There we go. And typically, so this is the front. Typically, I use the back part gets folded in first, like this. And we're gonna add glue to these tabs and glue this down. Then we're gonna add glue here and glue this one down. Let me just fold this first. There we go. So let's go ahead and add some glue there. Of course, I'm running out. There we go. And then I like putting my hand inside the bag, and that helps me glue this easier to make sure it's all pressed together. So if you notice, the Target bag, the little tabs are cut at an angle. So I see that I'm having trouble with this bag where it kind of extends out a little bit. You can definitely cut these tabs at an angle. I'm just gonna cut it a little bit here. You can definitely cut these tabs at an angle. That way you don't have any of it peeking through like I'm having here. So yeah, that probably would be a better idea, is cut those tabs at an angle. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that with this one. Like this, back a little bit, and then like this. We're gonna add glue. And this is the last part we're gluing down. See, that looks so cute at an angle. Again, pressing from the inside of the bag so it's all pressed together and it won't come apart. Gotta give this glue some chance to dry. Then we can go on to folding the bag one more time. Look how cute that's looking. Okay, while that's drying a little bit, I'm gonna take my baker's twine and I'm going to attach it to the top. That's the bottom actually. Whoop, to the top of the bag. And this might take you some time to like work it in there because depending on the width of your baker's twine, like this one's pretty thick, so I'm not sure if it's gonna work. But I'm sure gonna try. Just gonna get through. Hold on, guys. There we go. And we're gonna tie it, that way it doesn't come apart. Like so. And I don't mind that there's a little bit hanging here, but if you want, you could always cut that, but I would suggest to do a double knot. But I don't mind it. Okay. I'm still waiting for that bottom to dry, but we can go ahead and do this fold. So this is the top of our bag, and we're basically gonna fold it in like this. We're gonna fold it so that way these two parts can meet together. And I lied, I thought that wasn't gonna bother me, but it is. So I'm gonna chop it off. Okay, and again, we can use our bone folder to help us make those folds a little bit more crisp. Like so. And now it functions, so you can go ahead and loop it. But I'm not gonna do that right now because there's one more fold. So this bag is ready to go. But if you wanted to make sure that it folds flat, like let's say you wanted to gift it to someone and you wanted it to fold flat, we're gonna try it because this is still pretty thick. So I had a hard time with this one, but we're gonna try it. And this paper is thinner and it was easy to do that. So let's see, I'm pretty sure this is pretty glued. So we're going to just work it, like fold it more, fold it, fold it, fold it, and start pressing with our fingers back here. And just pressing it tight. And we're gonna get our bone folder to again help us with those folds to make them nice and crisp. This one worked. Yay! So now you see like there's a little bit of like air in there. So this one is definitely chunkier. So this is also really thin like this one. So depending on the paper that you use. So this one like still kind of is a little bit chunky to fold that way, but it does. like let's say you wanted to send it flat, it will fold for you. But like I said, the thinner the paper, don't go super thin, but the thinner the paper, the easier it's going to be for you to fold this way. If you just wanted it just to have like the dimension, it's good like that, and the thicker paper would be cute to, you know, to be very sturdy. So I'm gonna go ahead and loop this for you guys here so you can see it all put together. So there you go. It's all put together. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for your patience for helping me work through this, because you know it is something new that I've discovered to do using the just the Target bag. I hope you understood that tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments and I'd be happy to answer them for you. I'm gonna leave all the scoring lines and the dimensions down below in the description, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. If you thought this tutorial was helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Again, my name is Kat, and this is day 45 of 100 Days of Katoween. If you haven't seen the previous videos, make sure you check them out. There's tutorials, there's how-tos, there's decorations, there's vlogaweens, there's shops with me. There's something for everyone, including videos for mom and me or Tot and me. For me, it's my niece and me. Tutorials that you can do with your son, daughter, niece, nephew, or cousin. So go ahead and check those out. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you do. I post lots of pictures, lots of fun stuff on there, and the information will be on the screen. If you recreate a little treat bag, tag me on Instagram with my Instagram name and then the hashtag information on the screen. I hope you guys have a spooktacular day. Bye!